Hello, this is Steve, Dichroic Glassman. Thanks a lot for watching my videos, by the way. And as always, I'm grateful for the comments and compliments. Thank you again. This is going to be a unique job, a unique video, in that the customer bought this panel already. It's an oval. It's been featured as a for sale on my YouTube and on my Facebook. But what makes this fun and interesting is that the client does not want the clear glass in here. I use clear glass often because it creates dimensionality. It makes some colors lift above the others. So I like the distancing. However, for some, it's not stained glass. Old school type ideas don't facilitate for clear glass being stained glass. And I can appreciate that and respect that decision. So, brings me to the point where I've actually had several requests for people showing me how I repair a window. So, I've got about a dozen of these pieces that I've got to knock out and replace. You might as well call it a repair job. So, first place to start, here we go. So we might as well just set up the camera on the piece I want to knock out, which is right here. So, what you want to do is you want to get a bucket to catch your glass underneath. Okay, and I've got my bucket here right now. Let's see if I'm focused. Okay. You want to extend your window over the edge of your bench. And what you want to do is and then break it from underneath, scoring the lines from underneath. And now from the top, we're going to tap it through. There you go. At this point, you want to get your soldering iron out. Mine's still getting hot. Heating it up as right now as I go. And I like to get these little glass shards, they're real tiny, that pop up. So you want to get your pliers out, these type of pliers, Grosing pliers, and you want to start, see that? That's ready to come out. You might find a few more squares that you can crack out in the meantime while you're waiting for your soldering iron to heat up. Done this hundreds of times. You want to do this really lightly because you definitely do not want to break your glass on either side. So you want to take care that you do this lightly, breaking out this glass here. So while I'm repairing or waiting for the soldering iron, let's knock out another one. We've got another big piece over here, right in here. Again, make sure you got oil on your cutter. Oil on your cutter. And what I want to do is I want you to start scoring the glass on the top. And what I want to do is cut them up into little squares. The smaller the squares, the more manageable for me to pop them out. So just create a cross. Take the end of your glass cutter and start popping it. So basically what you're doing is creating nice little runs from underneath. If you score it on the top, then you've got to break it from underneath. So while we got all these little pieces, there we go. Tap it. And lightly, again, so that you don't break any of the surrounding glass. You'll know if it comes out with one or two hits. That's all you want to chance it, because you definitely do not want to break your surrounding glass. Got a little industry going on in the background here at my shop. His other fellow artists are working around. So again, we've got this opening here. Let's see if our soldering iron is, soldering iron is warming up. At this point, you want to get your flux out and your brush, and you want to flux where you had it soldered. Let's see, yep, shows in their scene. Okay, and ideally you want to do it from the back side and on the other side. And the reason for that is because as you melt this through, it's just going to help it flow that much better. Okay, now soldering iron is hot. You want to start cleaning out. It's not hot all the way. I like to get an X-Acto knife, and as you heat this up, try to get this X-Acto in between the foil. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Because you want to leave the foil on the existing pieces of glass. Take a minute here to see my, yes. So you want to grab your pliers and hold the ends of the foil. Okay, now let's get out this first piece of glass by heating it up. There we go, cooperated very well. We'll go right into our second piece. Oh, it tore my foils. Not to worry. I can compensate for that. Okay, and that's one thing you want to be careful of, is not to cut your foil. And I did it anyhow, but I know how to repair that very easily. And we'll go through that as we follow through one or two videos on how to repair this piece of glass. Well, in my case, all I'm doing is switching it out. The lady does not want clear glass in there. So we're going to put a light mauve. I know what happened here. I used an inferior foil. And that caused this foil. It's no problem, because I'm going to use a piece of Venture foil in its place. Which, by the way, this is a good exercise, because sometimes as you're repairing a window, there is no foil in there. So this is actually a good exercise. I like to take everything positive, even though it's the uh-oh. Well, in most cases, that uh-oh is a perfect opportunity. So I'm cleaning up the space. There's two pieces of foil, one from this piece and one from this piece. And what I'm trying to do is separate both pieces of foil, trying to keep the foil on the surrounding pieces of glass. So I'll shut up. If you're going to make stained glass windows, you better learn how to repair them. Because when you got one, you will have the other. It's just a matter of time. Perhaps you've never been asked to repair a window, Right now I'm getting the solder off of the underneath of this glass. You want to clean it out so that everything, there's no globs, no solder balls. I'm going to back my piece up a little bit, move my camera. Okay. Put some more flux. That allows this solder to flow very well, very nicely, as we try to release the two pieces of foil. And doing a pretty good job at this point. I used an inferior foil on this window right here. I remember this piece. And then I got my order of Venture. I love Venture black back foil. I think they're some of the highest quality. I haven't tried them all. It's basically about the thickness of the foil. That's really it. Have to look at the package. Well, let's take time and look at the package. .25 mil. This is my preference, Venture tape. I use blackback foil on every piece in my stained glass. I don't use copper foil anymore because I do black patina on every piece I do. I do not do copper or silver patina, only black. I believe it gives me the highest, richest look. So with that said, I only use blackback foil. Whether I'm using it on an opal piece, a translucent piece, or even a clear piece, it doesn't matter. Why bother? And blackback foil sticks to my glass very well. Looking forward to the day when I can get some sponsorship for some of my videos. I enjoy doing videos. It's a perfect opportunity to share some ideas with others. Do a shout out to a couple of my friends, Leslie, the owner of D&L Glass in Colorado. Known Leslie for over 25 years. Awesome place to buy your glass. Okay. Howard Sandberg, friend of mine over at CBS. Awesome place to buy dichroic glass. As it goes without saying, Dichroic Glassman endorses CBS. Okay, let's just do the start of this. And it's redundant to do all of them, as you already know what the process looks like. Take care that when you extend your window over the edge, that you know your window, that it's strong. I know the properties of my windows, and I know how far out I can extend my window. And my belly is holding up the end at this point. My multitasked body. Okay, at this point, put some flux on. Get your X-Acto knife, heat the foil up, and try to put it in there while it's molted and get her started. There we go, so that you can lift the foil away from the existing. There you go. It's quite easy. Of course, this is just the first step of the process. Oops, I'm going to have to turn my pliers around, kind of reach in there. Heat up the foil, or the solder, and then lightly start pulling on your glass and it scoots right out. Look at that, this scoots right out. Heat up your foil, and often that'll come right out. So, here's my foil. It's cold by now, don't worry, it's not hot. As long as you hold on to the end, you can pretty much just hold your fingers and pull this away. Give yourself about an inch or so holding on to. You hold on right next to that foil and it will zing you. It's hot. This isn't hot right now. So you heat up the top and the bottom by just arranging your iron around, and you'll be able to accomplish. We're doing a swell job. Foil broke. No problem. A little warm. Let's grab my pliers. Hold on to that end. And voila. So the next phase, I will go ahead and take this all out of this cavity here, have it nice and clean, so that the next video will walk right into fitting our piece of glass into that hole, so that we can start taking care of our needs here, and put the right color, appropriate color glass in the hole, solder it back up, repair it, go through all the processes of blackening the patina and so forth until we have a finished product. Thank you for watching my videos, and always thank you for the comments and compliments. Looking forward to your questions, and you can contact me at 828-419-0479. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.